So we don't hear that stuff much anymore, but a lot of people still think this sort of thing, and I don't even know why. It's like, and one of the ways I talk about it, because I really don't try to, because it's like, okay, someone's opinion of this is so strong that I'm not sure if me talking about it in a normal way, like what we do, helps them understand it. So I'll say something like, well,
they're so closed off to it, you're not sure how to break through.
I don't know how to break through it, so I'll say something like, well, ma'am, do you why are your competitors up there? So they're not up there because they're lucky, like they actually fought to get up there. They're thinking about ways to get up there. And I said, you can go into your city and Google roofer in your city, and I'm assuming those are people you've heard of, right?
Yeah.
And it was like, well, yeah. I was like, but why do they work hard to get up there? And so now,
like, they're not putting that money into it if it's not returning.
Yeah. Hey there, guys. It's Nolan Walker with Roofing Webmasters, and Jason here, Director of Operations.
Howdy.
And today we're going to, I guess this is actually a true client story, actually.
It kind of is,
So this is our true.
But it's more than one client. That's the thing.
So the true client stories aren't always an existing client. A lot of times it's just a common threaded theme.
It's something we hear. What I was about to say a minute ago was that it's like memes. You get this idea that filters through, and we hear it for like 6 months. We'll hear the same thing from multiple people, and it eventually gets dispelled, and something else just as ridiculous takes its place.
That made me think of something, by the way, when you talked about it. So I had Yellow Pages come up, because this doesn't come up as much as it used to.
Yeah.
I shouldn't even... We'll say Yellow Pages. We're not talking about any particular company, just Yellow Pages.
Everybody knows what Yellow.
So this particular topic, though, is I don't think the internet brings in that many leads.
Which I'm going to go over here and laugh for a minute.
And so it was like, but someone's like, and she said, I know. So I'm listening to all this, and I'm not speaking. And this is someone, and I got to be honest, this person probably won't become a client because of the mentality.
Right.
And so she's making a lot of statements, and I'm kind of like I don't know how to respond to this.
Like that client you had that I don't trust Google and I don't need a website.
Yeah.
And you want to say, sir, this is a digital marketing company. Why did you call us?
Well, I do sometimes. I was like, we're a digital marketing company. But so she was talking about it, and she said, I know that most of my leads are always going to come from door knocking and referrals and signs in yards and storms and stuff like this around door knocking and human on human contact. And then she made a lot of these statements, and I can't even remember all of them. And she's like, I guess I paused too long, and she's like, well, I guess you don't agree with that. And I'm like, well, no, I don't agree with anything you said. I said, you've just made a bunch of false narratives that in your head that absolutely have nothing to do with the reality.
Yeah, she front-loaded all her objections to why she should pay for our service.
And I said, I don't know where to start with all the comments she made, but I said, I can tell you what we do. And something else, and I'll get into that in a minute, but something else that I used to hear all the time, like, so 10 years ago, we started this business about 9-ish years ago, heard it all the time. And then roughly about 3 years ago, this disappeared.
Yeah.
But I still hear this every once in a while. And the comment is, well, I know people are not responding to Yellow Pages as much anymore, and I need to get moved over. And I'm like,
much anymore.
And I'm like, I don't hear that much anymore, but yeah. So, and somebody's always in a rural market, like in the Midwest or something, if I hear this. So it's not if it's in a megatropolis area or a state that has a megatropolis, you don't hear that comment anymore.
Right.
So there's not a lot of states that I'll hear that from, but somebody from like, I don't know, I'm going to dog someone's state, but like Wisconsin. Like I think that might have been
you just pissed off everybody in Wisconsin. Fortunately, like 10 people? I made it work.
Yeah, they're not.
Sorry, guys. Sorry,
they're not listening. Yeah.
Just kidding. Wisconsin's actually beautiful.
Their heads are buried in their phone books right now.
Yeah, they're all checking the
it's like
trying to look us up. I'm going to find that guy.
What's a podcast? Yeah.
Oh, man. We're going to get
anyway, so I still hear that stuff, but it's from a state without a megatropolis and a lot of little small towns and stuff.
Yeah.
I almost never hear it, though. It's almost never heard.
Yeah.
Usually someone has like a thicker Southern accent than me that says it. Anyway, so we don't hear that stuff much anymore, but a lot of people still think this sort of thing, and I don't even know why. It's like, and one of the ways I talk about it, because I really don't try to, because it's like, okay, someone's opinion of this is so strong that I'm not sure if me talking about it in a normal way, like what we do, helps them understand it. So I'll say something like, well,
they're so closed off to it, you're not sure how to break through.
I don't know how to break through it, so I'll say something like, well, ma'am, do you why are your competitors up there? So they're not up there because they're lucky. Like, they actually fought to get up there. They're thinking about ways to get up there. And I said, you can go into your city and Google roofer in your city, and I'm assuming those are people you've heard of, right?
Yeah.
And it was like, well, yeah. I was like, but why do they work hard to get up there? And so now,
like, they're not putting that money into it if it's not returning.
Yeah.
Like, there's a reason they're willing.
But
to
this
put
mentality is still really strong. But obviously, I mean, it's quite obvious that the majority of people that buy a roof now are going to do their roofer marketing search online.
Right.
It's just flat out where it's going to occur. And it's the same thing even if there's storm damage. Like, there are people that absolutely don't believe this, that I'm talking about. They still don't believe it. If there's storm damage, people buy from door knockers. That's all there is to it.
Yeah.
People come in and people watch this and no one even know what you're talking about. Like, dozens of people moving down, there'll be cards falling, business cards falling on the ground off their door.
Right.
I know, because I door knock, and if I get in there 1 or 2 days late, there's already 8 cards on the door.
But here's the thing: if someone's roof is damaged bad enough, they don't have to wait for someone to knock on their door. They can get online and find the person right now.
And they're scared by people knocking on the door.
That's the other thing, is nobody answers the damn door.
We did one about this the other day on door knockers and door knocking. And I mean, people,
Who is this?
Who is that? I wish I remembered that comedian that did the skit about company and stuff. I got to look it up.
You told me about it.
Yeah.
I don't remember who it was.
But yeah, so I mean, obviously people are online these days. They're not just, waiting for someone to knock on the door. They're not asking their neighbor necessarily. If somebody does respond, and I'll at least say this for you. So yeah, somebody might respond if their neighbor's getting their roof done, if they needed their roof done too. But guys, they're not going to go on without looking at your reviews online. Right. They're going to search you online. I mean,
they're not just going to take your business card and say, what a pleasant font, I'm going to hire that guy.
Yeah, that's a nice guy. That door knocker was just superb. It's such a nice guy. I think I'm just going to go with that and not check it. I mean, do you remember back, do you remember when phones were new and you would walk into a retail store and feel very sheepish about checking the price of the product in front of you? Do you remember when they'd eyeball you?
Oh, you mean like when cell phones were new?
When cell phones were new.
Yeah.
I don't know if y'all remember this, but people forget how culture changes and what happens.
Yeah.
But when phones were new, you'd walk into the store and you'd start searching and you'd look around and employees there, or managers would be like
giving you the stink eye.
This is ridiculous. We're paying to put this on the shelf and you're searching it online? And they would stare at you. Now you go in and you're just like, boom, boom, boom. You look around.
Well, I remember when Amazon added the ability to their app you could scan the bar, like you could go into any bookstore and you could scan the barcode with your phone, and the Amazon version of the book would come up and tell you how much cheaper you could get it. And everybody was up in arms about that. But I mean, those bookstores are all out of business now.
They are.
And all the big box bookstores.
Yeah, there is we're actually going to go to a town here locally where there is a 3-story Barnes & Noble.
Oh, wow.
Left.
Still one of those left?
There's still one left because the kids want to see it, and we'll make them read books.
The kids want to see it.
The kids want to see it. I mean,
come see the dinosaurs.
Come see Jeez. Isn't that horrible?
It is.
They actually want to see a big bookstore.
Wow.
Yeah, they don't go in. I mean, they want to go to a bookstore and get treats and stuff, but it used to be so common. But there's one. We heard about a 3-story Barnes & Noble locally, and we're actually going to make a trip over to the 2 towns over to see it. Isn't that ridiculous?
On an expedition to find a lost.
We're going to get the horse and carriage out. and make the long journey. I hope we all make it.
Make a long journey to find the mythical creature, the 3-story bookstore.
But guys, seriously, things have changed a lot, so it wasn't that long ago that I don't think it was more than like 5 years ago that people would still look at you for searching the prices in a store.
Oh, yeah.
So it wasn't that long
A small store, they'll still do it. Like a specialty store, they'll still be like,
yeah.
What are you doing there?
Yeah. I mean, most models, I went to look at sunglasses the other day, and that were prescription strength because I wanted some cool sunglasses, and she was like, oh, you can look them up here. And so I don't know if they're affiliated with them or something, but she gave me the specs and everything on them. Maybe the lady that worked there just didn't care.
Didn't give a crap. It's not my money.
Right. But I
That's
think
me if I'm ever a bank teller and get held up.
There you go.
It's like,
yeah,
here, take it. It's not
why
mine.
would you? Yeah. Why would you risk yourself? But anyway, so somebody next door is going to look at you. The chance of you showing up and being such a silver-tongued devil that you got something signed before you walked away, and frankly,
it doesn't matter how much of a silver-tongued devil because they won't open the door.
They won't open the door, and if you got it signed, people are going to look you up. If they looked you up, they got right of rescission, and so they're going to look you up online. They're going to look you up, and then in the future, I don't think.
And if you don't have a website or your website looks amateurish or whatever, they judge your business based on
So I do get calls on that. On the flip side of this, more than I hear this now, I do hear people say, I know we need to get a website because people are looking us up online and we missed a sale the other day.
Right.
I actually just had
that's a smart person, a relatively smart person.
I had a call that I talked to today, and I was talking to the older guy, and he's like, I don't know anything about this stuff, so talk to this other guy here. And so he tasked this other guy in the office to get a website because they'd gotten someone to look them up and their website didn't show up properly. Somebody from his church had built a website 10 years ago.
Oh, good God.
And they couldn't get into the 10yearold.com though. So he put up a subdomain business site. I know. No,
that hurts, a 10-year-old domain.
Listen, this stuff happens all day long, and all these are like really video-worthy topics.
Yeah.
So it's really a shame because this was a nice guy. He was older and admitted to me that he didn't know anything about web work. He's like, I know I need to get on there, so call back and talk to Randall. I called back and talked to Randall, who was a nice guy that was in the office, and he said, we did 400 roofs last year. And like 400 roofs is crazy. I'm like, what?
That's amazing.
Because they're on the outskirts of a megatropolis.
Like 400 without major storms?
400 without storms locally.
That's freaking awesome. As any roofer watching this
off
knows
of repeat business.
That's freaking crazy.
There was some storms in the town, but this was mostly repeat
but
business.
But not a bonanza hailstorm.
No, and they weren't like dog and door knocking out. So this guy was like older and just had a massive amount of repeat business with no web presence at all. And his web presence is so poor on the .com that he did have. It was never set up properly or tied to his Google My Business, his GMB account. Mm-hmm. And so when you search his name in this town of 3,000, the .com did not show up. Wow. Even though it was 10 years old. Wow. That's really rare, guys, for that to occur.
Yeah, that means it was badly done.
In case you ever wanted reasons to do business with us, the fact that you get to talk to me a lot of times, and I know all this stuff, I know what's good to do or not to do, and it's important for you because we know do we need this website or do we not? How important is it? What needs to be optimized? What are these people looking for? And this, they were, and then business dropped off to nothing.
Wow.
And then somebody called and tried to find them, so they couldn't. And then they had never gone for reviews, so they had one negative review, so they have a 1-star. One review is all they had.
Yeah.
And it was a 1-star. And so then all of a sudden they're sitting there they are going back to repeat clients and all that. But guys, this is like the very rare thing. Even the old guy that's about to retire realizes that his business is like falling off like a rock.
Right.
Because this guy used to be like a local juggernaut in a town of millions.
Yeah. And then he became harder to find, and other people had people in their face. And
man, I signed up one just the other day on the outskirts and in northern outskirts of Charleston, and business had sunk and sunk and sunk, and it's the son that called me. it's this was first Jen calling me on this one, and why somebody calls and then tells me that what we do for a living doesn't work is beyond me. But
if they think that, why did they call?
My roof's leaking. Y'all can put some shingles up there if you want. I know it's not going to help anything.
I know those shingles don't actually stop the rain.
I don't know why, but shingles don't stop a damn thing, and I just going to duct tape it. I don't know, you know.
I know people who would do that. I got a lot of East Texas relatives.
I got some teenagers down the street where dollar stores got a sale on duct tape. I mean, I don't know why I'm even called you. Isn't that about the equivalent of the phone call,
It is the
though?
equivalent.
It is the equivalent of the phone call. Why, I don't know why I called you, Nolan. It was like, you know, what y'all do is like highly questionable, and like, I don't know. Nobody ever proven that a shingle can hold out water. Stupid. I was like,
show me the evidence.
Yeah.
That
anyway,
shingles
so this was second generation, and he was like kind of. I mean, he wasn't going to cry or nothing. I might have bro hugged him if I'd have been close to him, because he was confiding in me that, you know, his dad had been like huge in business and things had just tapered off and off and off, and they'd like had this horrible year, you know. So Dad finally turned it over, and the son's like, dude, I'm going to do this, you know. This is ridiculous. And so they had, and by the way, the website's like 12, 14 years old.
Oh.
So Dad put up the website a long time ago and then didn't do anything to it at all. Oh, by the way, they were being handled by a local print media company. I'm careful on how I say this stuff, but it wasn't one of the bigger ones. It was a local print media company that did the local Yellow Pages. And if you had an ad in the Yellow Pages, they deliver it to your house. But if you don't have an ad, they don't do that anymore. I said, well, how's the distribution done? He's like, I don't know. And so they paid a flat fee for quite a bit. The flat fee for what they paid on a monthly basis to go on a Yellow Page that nobody uses in a rural market area that wasn't in the Charleston market, but a rural market one. And then they comboed it in with some pay-per-click, supposedly, right?
Ow.
And
that gives me a headache.
And hold on, I'm not done yet.
Oh boy.
Because he said, oh, this is an interesting story. It gets better. This is much better than this one. I think these stories are better than these general category topics. But I was like, well, we had to go into all kinds of stuff with this guy. We just signed him up yesterday. And I'm like, well, do you own the .com? And I was like, well, it's 14, 15 years old. I said, and it's with, I said, I mean, surely your dad did this. I think it was with GoDaddy and stuff, which is usually synonymous. No, it wasn't. I'm sorry, it wasn't with GoDaddy, but it was so old. I'm like, I said, surely you haven't been with a media company for 14 or 15 years. He's like, I don't know, I'm texting my dad right now. And we're on the phone for about an hour figuring all this stuff out. I actually guided him through how to get it back and what to do. It's like, we cannot lose this .com.
Right.
And by the way, other people would just go, oh, don't worry about it.
We'll just put up a new one.
We'll put up a new one, and they just shot your legs off.
Right.
Literally
you
just
are starting from scratch if you do that.
So
it will take a long time for Google to believe
that
that's the same
you're
business.
You're not horrific like you used to be. You still have your GMB account, but you just shot a limb off for sure.
Well, the problem is if they put up a new one, then that old one is still probably operational.
Well, it is. It takes forever.
There's two sites up going for the same thing, and Google gets confused. They're like, which one of these do I
Which one? I'm going to wait a long time in this case because this one was here for 14 and a half years.
And then all of a sudden this upstart pops up here.
This one might stay above the other one in ranking, even though this one's connected to the GMB button on your knowledge graph on the map. But it might take them like 6 months to go, okay, fools, if you want to get rid of the one that can dominate everything and throw it down, fine. And then they'll finally switch it.
Yeah.
Right.
But they'll be very cautious and conservative about that because
for a
the
long
website
time
that's been sitting there for that long has a lot of trust anchored to it.
Right.
Yeah.
So I worked with him for days, actually over a week. I told him what to do and how to do it and what to say and that we'd help do the transfer and all that. But I had asked him about it up front. And I was like, surely this is yours. And he's like, no, Dad said that the company did it. I'm like, oh, death blow, maybe.
Yeah.
And I was like, he's like, what? I'm like, you got to try to get that .com back. It was highly unusual.
Because sometimes an unscrupulous company will not release it. They'll say, we own it.
So this company, and the reason I
You're
brought
out
it
of
up, they charge them more than we charge for our robust package for a market this size for 15 years. It's horrible. I laugh not from laughing. I actually laugh out of
disbelief.
Yeah, disbelief. They paid this company that for that long, and Jason knows.
And they got nothing out of it.
Almost
Absolutely
nothing. Jason knows by what I'm describing because so the web page was one page and it had two interior pages, a contact and a services. So the website was sold and they'd never redone it from what websites looked like, if you can remember what they looked like 14 years ago. So they had a front page and a services and a contact. And
the services page was probably a bullet list.
Yeah, it was.
If I had to guess.
It was. Yeah, it was. So they didn't have any ability to optimize. They never worked on the website, but they bundled SEO, yellow page
SEO
print,
in heavy air quotes there.
Yeah, SEO, yellow page print, and PPC management. And
what was the PPC budget? Did they know?
They think it was $300, but they don't know. They have no proof of anything.
Gotcha.
So they don't
probably
know
can't get analytics or anything like that.
So so they're sitting there literally like, and actually on their photo they have like a fleet of trucks. They have like 8 or 9 trucks or something.
Wow.
Maybe 10, but they have this fleet of trucks, and evidently business is just like floored. But they normally service that other market down below them. They're in a rural town up there. That was another problem. Back in the olden days, you could be in a rural market and drive into town, put your yellow page ad up, and service that town.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah. Nowadays, you're out in a rural market and you have it organically optimized, your map placements wherever they are and all that, and you got a major problem. So anyway, we did a site for them, set it all up, and then they had to pay out their evergreen policy with them. They were just going to cancel it, by the way. This is another thing I did for this guy. I do this stuff all the time.
Yeah.
He's like, okay, I got it canceled. I'm going to cancel it. They said they'd cancel it and give me my .com back. And I was like, okay, well, what was the portion for the pay-per-click? And they called back and they said $300. I said, are you paying? And I got them to like lower it down. Or they were actually nice to them considering. I don't know. I won't say that. Never mind.
They stole their money for 15 years.
Yeah,
Nice.
I think it was close to $200,000 roughly, as this guy's business, as the guy that didn't, the original owner didn't understand, and it just kept going.
Business keeps going down, but they never, they kept charging the same or increasing.
I would assume it had increased. Had it been like that for that length of time, I think it was close to a couple $100,000, which isn't bad. That he spent money on marketing. What's bad is what
they didn't get anything for it.
Yeah, what they were.
He spent it in the wrong place.
He spent it in the wrong place. But anyway, you have a situation where somebody like that actually goes for it, and the kid understands it and starts going for the business. I mean, all their business now with the old .com, the aged Google account, they actually had reviews just for being in business so long.
Nice.
And so I expect it to take off pretty quickly and be a happy client.
Little sidebar on reviews, because you mentioned the other client that only had one review that was negative.
Yeah.
If you do not solicit reviews, all your reviews will be negative, because people that are happy don't usually take the time to go leave a
higher
review.
percentage will be negative.
Yeah, a higher percentage.
A much higher percentage.
People mostly go look to review when they're angry, and I don't care how good you are at your job, you will occasionally get someone, it might even be their fault, and they might just be unreasonable weirdos or crazy or whatever, but you will have negative reviews, and you cannot get Google to remove them. They won't. We've tried. We've tried to help clients get negative reviews removed that were just crazy crap before. Google will almost never remove them.
I've heard of it before. I was going to say, but it's not worth.
The only thing you can do is drown them out. You have to outweigh them.
Yeah, there isn't a business out there that does enough business that won't end up with a bad review. The nice thing is, back in the days, I won't mention the company that extorted all of us businesses and only took negative reviews before the internet showed up and made them almost obsolete. Nowadays, the new review sources are out there really to collect all reviews, and primarily that's a positive experience.
Right.
So if you're great, most of these businesses do a pretty good job, and they'll get great reviews. You should easily be able to have over 4.5 stars average rating,
right,
even with all bad reviews. I'll tell you this though: if you're at a job site, and we have you guys, y'all need to check out our review management software, but that's a different category topic. But if you're at a job and you don't like the people or they're edgy, guy's a jerk, obviously don't text and email him a review link.
Yeah.
So
you pulled a gun on us. Would you give us a good review?
You've yelled at us the whole time.
That's almost a true story, by the way. We had a client, I think it was about 3 years ago, that he was out on a job site doing a roof, and the next door neighbor was angry about the noise and pulled a gun on him.
I remember
and then
that.
gave him a bad review.
Yeah.
When he had done nothing wrong. He was out there.
The next door neighbor gave him a bad review.
He was out there on a normal time of day to be doing this kind of work. The guy's roof had to be redone. It was
that guy was a bit of a hothead. I remember talking to
the roofer.
The roofer.
Yeah, he was too. He didn't help his case.
But if somebody pulls a gun on you, then I'm going to give him credit.
Yeah.
Somebody pulls a gun on you, you can get a little irate.
Yeah, but his wife admitted that her husband was a hothead anyway. But then if you're already a hothead and somebody pulls a gun on you,
things are not going to go well.
Things aren't going to end well. It's not like, but they didn't even do anything to this guy. I don't think they smashed his crepe myrtles or anything.
Yeah, they were just making noise, putting a roof in.
And the guy pulls a gun.
And the guy pulled a gun on him.
And then gives them a
bad review. And by the way, they tried to have that review removed, and Google wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
Google.
That review does not violate our guidelines.
I'm trying to think of a justification for the guy. I can't think of one. I don't think that should go on. But anyway.
Just about the only thing they'll remove is if you make inflammatory, like racist statements or stuff like that.
A statement against protected classes, maybe.
So, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Or if you like if there's like a threat of violence included, not the gun had already been pulled, but like if you say, "You guys' service sucks. If I ever see you on the street again, I'm gonna kill everybody in your family." They'll remove that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But if it's just someone saying these people are loud and rude, it stays. So you better solicit every happy client.
I will say this about the review. We talk about reviews so much
lot.
right now.
It's been a thing.
I think that the average client, if you guys, let's say you have a roofer and you have 50 reviews, right, and let's say 3 of them are bad, which would probably be pretty close. You're going to have like a 4.6 or 7 rating.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure that the general populace of reading all these glowing reviews and an occasional bad one is going to be like, that's probably an idiot.
Right.
These look like good guys, and that looks like an unreasonable reviewer.
Right.
I think that's essentially what you're going to want to have happen.
Yeah, that's why you drown it out, so that your overall average is enough. I mean, if you got 50 reviews and your average is 2.5, people aren't even going to read them. They're going to
listen. There's not a contractor at all, or roofer, or anybody else apart that isn't going to end up with a situation where people's nerves are frazzled and pissed off.
Right.
You got construction pounding colors, nails,
Yep.
workers attitude, people cussing in English or other languages.
Firearms, apparently.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Heaven forbid the people know all that.
Years and years ago, my sister and her husband sold their house, and it was kind of in cruddy shape, so they had to have a bunch of stuff redone to make it saleable. And they paid this guy to come in and redo the floors in the whole house. And my sister called me and asked me, because she was busy and her husband was out of town. She's like, "Go by the house. They said they're done. Go by the house, make sure it looks right."
Yeah.
So I went to the house, and everything looked good. And I go outside, and there's a 50-gallon trash can.
I think you told me this
sitting on
story
the
one
porch.
time. I've heard this story.
And I'd been drinking a Coke, so I opened it to throw away. That 50-gallon trash can was full, bottom to top, with tequila bottles, empty ones.
Yeah.
Because it was cold, and the workers were keeping themselves warm all day
That
long.
wouldn't go over well today. How long ago was this? Pre-Google
we're
review?
talking years and years.
Before you could go on it.
Yeah, we're talking like 2002.
But see, the guys watching, I mean, are empathetic towards it. I mean, come on. You got to watch who your sub crews are.
Right.
But if something like that happens every once in a while, and I know a lot of guys will let some of this stuff slide because the
these
sub crew.
guys didn't do anything wrong. They did a great job.
Yeah.
They caused no problems with the neighbors. They were just hammered the whole time.
Listen,
They were functional drunks.
Don't think that doesn't go on.
Oh yeah,
all
they
the
were
time.
they were highly skilled functional drunks.
Normally, it's beer after the job or right when the job finishes.
This was
Some people ice
during
it. Some crews ice it down. Now, if the roofer finds out who the sub crew is, they're going to probably not utilize those people. Except they may be the best crew there is, though.
Yeah, I mean, this guy did a great job. And I mean, it was him and 2 other guys.
You want cigarette butts and
them
beer cans.
4 days to
Yeah.
do the whole house, and they drank that much tequila in 4 days between.
There
3
is a
guys.
funny skit. I'll give a plug to a YouTuber here.
Okay.
There is a funny skit routine spoofing roofing companies
I don't know what you're talking
called Best Damn Roofer. And this reminds me, because I could go off on this, but I can't talk about it directly too much without getting myself in trouble. But a lot of this stuff goes on with hard labor workers.
Right.
And it's like, what do you do? When I was a kid growing up, we were in the flooring business, and we dealt with a lot of hard labor stuff, and a lot more stuff flew back then.
Yeah.
People would drive down the road when we were teenagers. People still drank beer driving down the road and would
Yeah.
show their can.
I had
was
one of my best friends in high school.
It was still legal.
I remember
right?
his dad, when he turned 16, his dad bought him a new pickup. His dad actually owned a construction company. He was very successful.
Yeah.
And so he bought him a new pickup, and the day the dealership called, said the pickup was ready.
Yeah.
And I was over at his house, and he says, "You want to come with me to pick it up?" I'm like, "Hell yeah, let's go." It was a really nice custom pickup, and we get in his dad's pickup, and his dad walks out with 4 Budweiser and puts them in the cup holders in his console in his like big suburban kind of thing.
It's so
and he
crazy.
drank 2 of them on the way to the dealership and 2 of them back.
That's insane.
This is 1986.
So that was right before the law changed.
Yeah.
That was like 86, 87 is right when it changed.
Yeah, before open carry and everything.
Yeah, and it went
Or not open carry, but that's guns.
And I think
open container.
Open container, and I think it went from like 18 to like 21.
Yeah.
You know how I know? Because you're about the same age as my brother. Your generation was going to be able to drink beer at roughly 18, right?
And then it changed.
And right before you turned 18, it changed to 21.
My brother turned 18, was able to drink beer for 6 months, and then it changed to 21.
Yeah.
He was mad.
Yeah. Yeah, that's crazy. And I think Louisiana, because so much of their revenue came off of drinking, was like one of the last ones to sign it, but they'd lost their highway funding. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
So nobody.
the Fed started constricting highway fund. They did it first with we're just talking about nothing now.
Yeah. No, it's interesting.
They did it first with when they lowered the speed limits to 55
Yeah.
nationally. If you wouldn't do it, they'd restrict your funding.
Yeah.
Because Texas tried to say, we're not going to do that.
Well, if you can imagine what the subcontractors were like in the late 80s, showing up to a job site.
When it wasn't illegal to drive while drinking.
It was basically like Best Damn Roofer showing up. It was like,
it wasn't illegal. There wasn't much of a review platform out there.
They had one review platform.
Yeah.
You could drink and show up. I mean, people back then much more frequently would have just like beer cans in the back of their truck. Do you remember that?
Yeah. The back of the truck would be a sea
back of the truck
beer
had beer cans everywhere.
It was normal. If you're in Texas, wherever you're from, you may be horrified by this.
Yeah, you might be
depending
horrified.
on your age range.
Yeah, well, we had like blue laws and stuff, but it didn't mean people didn't drink like crazy. Like,
Well, blue law just meant you couldn't buy it on Sunday.
you just couldn't buy it on Sunday.
You couldn't buy toys on Sunday. I hated when my mom went to the grocery store on Sunday.
Why couldn't
'cause
she
the
buy a toy?
It was just part of the blue law.
That's
The toy
I don't remember
aisle
that.
was roped off on Sunday.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Oh well. If the grown-ups couldn't have fun, why should the children have any
Exactly.
fun? It's like punish everyone equally.
Yeah. Anyway.
No, it's interesting though, because you got to worry about it. You guys, that was a funny one though. I don't know who that guy is, but there's some really funny videos on YouTube under the term search
Best damn roofer.
Best Damn Roofer.
It is hilarious.
All right, guys. So if you don't think the internet returns for roofing leads and roofing SEO is a real thing and works really, really well, and
It works. You're crazy. Get over it.
Try not to think about that kind of stuff. Try not to think about any of the preconceived notions you have. You're making up false narratives, thinking that your competitors got up there by happenstance or they got lucky or they fight and pay you up there for no reason. Why would they do that if they didn't get great results?
Or it's some kind of weird conspiracy or whatever's
There's
going
no-
on in your head.
Yeah, whatever sort of negative like self-talk you're doing about it, just
Yeah.
cut all that stuff out. We'd love to hear from you as usual. It was nonsense at the end, but I think that's good stuff. sometimes.
Entertaining nonsense.
It is entertaining. People remember that stuff. By the way, I think one of the reasons we went down memory lane is because we started this out with this old archaic thought process, you know, of how things used to be. And it's not like that anymore.
In my day,
Yeah.
we liked it.
There you go. All right, guys, call us. We'll see you.
Take it easy.